lifetime, I have been to a few places on the planet that were as jaw-dropping impressive as the location we are about to see, only a half-day's drive from Las Vegas, Nevada. It was about 10 years ago, on vacation, that we were on a road trip for a few days traveling the back roads of southern Utah. Our plan was to take the scenic route and make it to Arches National Park on the east side of the state. There were many beautiful parks and vistas along the way, but one impressed me more than the rest, including the north rim of the Grand Canyon. This was Bryce Canyon National Park. Bryce Canyon National Park made me feel like I was quickly transported from my home planet Earth to a distant place in the galaxy that appeared as strange and alien as any I have seen in science fiction movies. I've traveled many places, including exploring the depths of the ocean's deep coral reefs and canyons and the strange world of deep underwater caves. While impressive, these places just did not compare to Bryce Canyon. "10 years ago, when I first saw Bryce Canyon's first major amphitheater, Fairyland Canyon, just outside the park entrance, I quickly gathered my composure and began to shoot video of the vision before me. After we got home, I looked at the video and was really disappointed, as my new high-definition camera just didn't capture the look and feel of how it impressed me that first sight. This year, technology has given me the tool I needed to make that impression over and over with each viewing of this collection of images. This technology is 3D stereography. 3D stereography can recreate the actual way I see this exotic beauty of nature, preserving the most realistic memory than ever before. 3D stereography is not real, but an illusion of reality. 3D stereography is not magic, but a real science based on optical physics coupled with how our brain perceives dimensional vision. To create the realism view in a window to the world of Bryce Canyon, a variety of tools were used to capture these impressions of nature's beauty. I used twin high-definition cameras spaced wide apart to compress the miles of depth in the vista to that which will fit in your viewing room. I also used a special 3D panorama camera that shoots extreme wide angle, like CinemaScope, but in 3D to compress the vast peripheral vision we see when there. The combination of these two systems is what makes this project what it is today. Usually we arrive late in the day at McCarran Airport, so the first leg of our travel will begin with a 3 to 4 hour trip northbound on Interstate 15 to Cedar City, Utah, that has a number of fine hotels and good restaurants. The next day, after a complimentary breakfast fit for a hungry cowboy, we were back on Interstate 15 to make our way to Bryce Canyon. To our right, looking east, we pass by a long north-south mountain range that has several routes to cross over, but we feel it is better to take a further northern route to our exit onto Route 20, east over a cut in the mountain range. This route is faster and offers better roads. Continuing past the mountain range, we make a right turn onto Route 89 heading south into Panguitch. In Panguitch, when we come upon Route 12, we make a left turn and head into our first small park vista, Red Canyon. Red Canyon is a small area along the highway that will give us a preview of what we're about to see at Bryce Canyon. It's still early, so we'll take a few minutes and get some pictures of Red Canyon from the highway. There are plenty of pull-offs to park and some easy paths to do some short hikes. Route 12 continues east through two small tunnels and then onto a short valley of flatlands to Bryce Canyon Lodge and Resort, where we will make a right turn onto Route 63. On Route 63, we head into a small village where we have reservations at a hotel. It is advisable to make reservations. While there are many hotels in the area, they do book up in certain seasons. Bryce Canyon is a very popular place and attracts 1.5 million visitors annually from worldwide. Our first stop is a visit to the rim of Fairyland Canyon. One of the nicest features of Bryce Canyon is you have the ability to drive up and park within a very short walking distance to the rim of the canyon and see just about everything from high overhead. There is a fence just at the edge of the steep drop-off that will protect you from falling to your death several thousand feet into the canyon floor. Most of the popular viewing sites are equipped with nice parking, walking paths, and a protective fence. In Bryce and other similar nearby canyons, we see a geologic rock formation called hoodoos. The first known use of the word hoodoo in the United States was in 1875 when geologists likened this mystical magical formation to the similar ones found throughout the world, especially in Africa. However, Bryce Canyon is special because it has the largest collection of them in the world. Hoodoos are formed by water and freeze-thaw temperature and gravity erosion off of the mountains. At first, the water runoff creates small river streams of flash flooding, and this water is absorbed into the hard shell of the dolomite, siltstone, and sandstone. And when this water freezes, it causes the hard rock to crack and weaken. With each freeze-thaw, the hard shell rock breaks apart. This is called frost wedging, and pieces from small pebbles to large boulders fall away, creating gullies and eventual canyons. As this process repeats over and over, the canyons get larger and larger, and the walls between them smaller and smaller. These canyons create spires or long fins of walls. As the spires continue to erode, the sections of mudstone, also contained in the spire, erode faster than that of the limestone, so that these parts of the spire fall away sooner, creating the round, tall, totem pole-shaped formation we call a hoodoo. Hoodoos are often found in a line running from the mountain top to the bottom because this is the way the water flows. It's a combination of these erosive forces combined with the different rock types that produces the unique geological formations in such abundance as we see here at Bryce Canyon. Bryce Canyon is a national park that was founded in 1928 by an act of Congress, but before that, President Harding declared it a national monument in 1923. In the middle 1800s, early Mormon settlers came to the area and settled in the lower regions of the canyon, where water was plentiful, in hopes of farming the area. One such settler was Ebenezer Bryce and his wife Mary. Bryce was a carpenter who settled and built a home in the area now where Bryce Lodge is located. His neighbors and friends began calling the amphitheater we know as Sunset Point Bryce Canyon, and the name continued. Once when Ebenezer Bryce was asked about the area, he responded with his description, "It's a heck of a place to lose a cow." Today, Bryce Canyon is one of our national parks, some 35,835 acres, and is an easy place to visit and enjoy the days of hiking and sightseeing. The park and immediate area is ready to host people from around the world in all levels of living comfort. As we enter the park after paying our entrance fee, we make a quick stop at the Visitor Center to get a look at some of the displays that describe the history and geology of Bryce Formation. Our first stop inside the park is Inspiration Point. There is another vista called Sunset Point, but we'll catch that later on in the day during the setting sun. Inspiration Point consists of 3 levels of hoodoos and offers an interesting view of the main amphitheater. Here, we can see some well-defined trails down in the base where visitors can view this geological wonder from the ground up. Leaving Inspiration Point, we continue to the main viewing area of the Amphitheater Valley, Bryce Point. Bryce Point is one of the most scenic of all the park vistas. The name of this point reminds us of the canyon's namesake, Ebenezer Bryce, who settled in the area in 1870. Bryce, a carpenter and shipbuilder, journeyed west with Brigham Young and the Mormons to assist in the construction of buildings in the region. While Bryce lived here, only 5 years, the canyon became known as Bryce Canyon to those who knew him. He was instrumental in establishing the region as a permanent settlement of the Mormons who came here. At Paria View, we can look to the south of the Paunsaugunt Plateau as elevation rises. Few places in Bryce Canyon offer spectacular views generated by the setting sun. Paria and Sunset Canyon are the exceptions. Here at Paria, we can see some hoodoos and other geology rise high enough above the canyon floor that make for some interesting photography depending on the time of the day. The name Paria comes from a Paiute Indian word meaning water with mud, likely due to the muddy streams that flash flood the valleys and canyons during a rainstorm. Leaving this side road from Route 63, we continue south for a small distance to a small pull-off near the rim of the canyon and have a look at Swamp Canyon. Swamp Point offers us our first close encounter with hoodoos of Bryce Canyon, since it is a small area bounded by fins and hoodoos on both sides. Stopping at the roadside parking at Fairview Point, we are treated to a spectacular view of up to 160 miles. The long range of visual clarity is a result of the high altitude and unusual high air quality in the Bryce area. On a trail that leads a short distance north, we come to another place, to a view called Piracy Point. While the trail is well marked, it is less visited by tourists stopping at Fairview Point. From the rim of Bryce Canyon, we can see the town of Tropic in the distance. This town was settled in the 1800s by Mormon settlers. The Tropic Ditch was a canal hand-dug by Mormon settlers in 1890 to channel water to both Tropic and Cannonville for irrigation and farming. To get a view of Bryce Canyon from the ground up, we took a short side trip down Route 12 toward the small town of Tropic. After crossing a small bridge, we find a parking area alongside the road. Here, we find a trail that heads back toward Bryce Canyon. The trail runs along a small stream with plenty of sights to see the familiar hoodoos high on the mountains nearby. As we continue on the trail, we come to a T, where to the left we continue to see the mossy cave that this trail is named for. Okay, so this is not a real cave, as we know them, but just a rock overhang with seeping water from the cracks in the rock. The air under the overhang is quite cool, and we see the remains of snow and ice from the winter's precipitation. Back on the trail, to the T, we make a right turn this time and follow this path to the stream's source of a waterfall. The source of the waterfall continues from the canyon of Bryce Amphitheater. Here is where the official trail ends. Our next stop off is a popular visual called Natural Bridge. This arch, and bridge to nowhere, is easily seen from the rim. There are several less visible natural bridges in Bryce Canyon Park. Ogle Canyon offers two prominent hoodoos that grab your attention. The left one is called the Hunter. To the right is a hoodoo commonly referred to as the Rabbit. In the early days, many of the hoodoos were given names by park officials, but nature's wrath, unfortunately, destroyed many of these landmarks, causing them to fall away due to continued erosion. Today, it is no longer official policy to name the hoodoos for this reason. Any reference to names from visitors are no longer considered official. Ponderosa Canyon is a region of contrasting plant growth due to the layers of different soils present in the valley. Beyond Ponderosa Canyon is Black Birch Canyon, a smaller area of thick black birch forest. Continuing southbound, we come to the highest point in the park at 9,115 feet. This is Rainbow Point, and it is combined with Yavimpa Point, which offers vistas of the park's amphitheaters along the rim of the Paunsaugunt Plateau, and to the southeast, viewing the Grand Staircase Escalante all the way to the Navajo Mountain on the Arizona state line. The Paunsaugunt Plateau is a desiccated plateau rising to an elevation of 7,000 to 9,300 feet in south-central Utah in the United States. Located in northern Kane County and southwestern Garfield County, it is approximately 10 miles wide and approximately 25 miles long, terminating in the Pink Cliffs at the southern end. The plateau receives approximately 200 inches of snow per year and experiences approximately 200 days of freeze-thaw cycles. Utah's Highway 12 climbs to the top of the Paunsaugunt Plateau. Geologically, the plateau was created approximately 10 to 20 million years ago by an uplift on the larger Colorado Plateau. Subsequent erosive forces, especially along the eastern side of Bryce Canyon National Park, have resulted in the creation of hoodoos, which are the hallmark of the park. We head back to Sunset Point now, as it is late in the day, and wish to capture the spectrum of color that the canyon offers at sunset. Remember, Sunset Point is unique as its terrain offers a setting sun vista of changing color. It is unique because most of the amphitheaters in Bryce Canyon are shadowed by the setting sun. We hope you enjoyed this 3D tour of Bryce Canyon National Park. It is a most inspiring and peaceful place to spend a couple of days in the late spring. The park rangers and commercial facilities are most hospitable and work to make sure your stay is fun and enjoyable.